In this article I'm going to present the best mantra meditation for beginners. Have you ever tried mantra meditation? Mantra meditation is one of the top 31 types of meditation. In mantra meditation you meditate on sacred sounds, often meditating on one of the 108 primordial sounds. This type of meditation has become popular recently because so many people are doing transcendental meditation now. But just what is mantra meditation and how do you do it? That's where this guide comes in. In this guide to Jainist, Hindu, and Buddhist mantra meditation, I, Paul Harrison, meditation teacher, am going to teach you everything you need to know to start doing mantra meditation. Plus, you'll probably want to read my list of the best mantra books to learn more. Contents: Mantra Meditation for Beginners Introduction. With this guide I'm aiming to produce the absolute #1 online resource for mantra meditation for beginners. You might have noticed that there are lots of articles that discuss mantras, but none of them really cover mantra meditation in depth. There are lots of articles like the top 10 mantras for meditation, why mantras work, the benefits of mantra meditation, the benefits of specific mantra set, but there are no articles that actually bring all of this together. This is the gap I'm aiming to fill with this article. Let's get started. What is mantra meditation? Mantras are sacred sounds with spiritual properties. For instance, there are a mantra is a sacred word or sound, usually in Sanskrit, that is believed to produce spiritual, psychological, or physical benefits to the person who utters it. In this way, they are comparable to spells, incantations and prayer formulas, though there are important differences. Mantra meditation is more than 3,000 years old. Over the years, we've seen the growth of Hindu mantras, Buddhist mantras, Jainist mantras, and today there are also self-improvement mantras, which are commonly called affirmations. You can find concepts similar to mantras in Japanese Shingon, Christianity, Zoroastrianism, Tantra and Taoism. To put it simply, mantra meditation is commonplace the world over. But what is a definition of mantra meditation? The exact meaning and definition of a mantra varies depending on the specific culture or spirituality that the mantra comes from. For instance, Tantra mantras are considered sacred, where some mantra meditations just use relaxing sounds. Not only are there mantras in different spiritualities, such as Buddhist mantras and Hindu mantras, but there are different types of mantra too. There are musical mantras that are chanted and that use very precise musical measurements. Kundalini mantra meditation, for instance, often involves specific musical notes. And there are very basic one-syllable mantras like Om, Aum, which is one of the Buddhist mantras beginners may have heard of, and is one of the primordial sound. There are 108 primordial sounds that we can use for mantra meditation. The 108 primordial sound is without doubt one of the most important parts of mantra meditation. We'll discuss that further in the section How Do Mantras Work, which you can read about below. However, if we're going to write a definition of mantras, we need to include more than just sound. Would you believe some meditation mantras have sacred power? Some masters state that meditation mantras are actually thoughts that have magical or spiritual powers. For instance, in an outline of the religious literature in India, J. Fargahua states that mantras are religious thoughts or prayers that have supernatural powers. And in Heinrich Roberts' Image Myths and Symbols in Indian Art and Civilization, mantras are defined as verbal instruments that produce certain qualities or traits in an individual's mind. There have been many different definitions of mantras through the years. So what is the best definition of a mantra? To get to the best definition of a mantra, you have to combine all the different definitions into one. When you do that, you get a general definition of mantras as words or sounds that produce qualities in the mind that lead to specific benefits. For instance, the Buddhist mantra Om Mani Padme Hum, through its sacred sound and the thoughts it produces, connects the individual to Dharma, Buddha's teachings. As I stated, my objective here is to give the absolute best overview of mantras in world culture. So, to be respectful to all different cultures, let me say this. It is important to realize that the exact meaning of a mantra will vary depending on the religious or spiritual context. I've used a general definition above that I hope is mutually agreeable between different people. The meaning of different mantras in meditation. One of the most hotly debated questions about mantras is this: do mantras meaning anything, or are the words meaningless? When we do mantra meditation, are we saying anything specific? Some masters will tell you that the precise sounds in mantras do not mean anything, and that a mantra's function is musical in nature, that the power of a mantra comes from resonance, rhythm and meters. Other masters say that meditation mantras are very specific mental instruments with precise meanings. What is universally agreed, however, is that mantras have meter, rhythm and melody that is essential to the purpose. In other words, you cannot just repeat a mantra over and over, you have to use them musically. Another view says that mantras mean absolutely nothing, and that the sounds are similar to the utterances in folk music where singers make sounds that evoke certain feelings but which ultimately do not have any linguistic definition. Rather, what is important is the sound quality. This is the explanation offered by Fritz Stahl in Rituals and Mantras, Rules Without Meaning. The important takeaway from this is: when you use a mantra, as well as pronouncing the words correctly, you must also use the correct musical qualities. Why must you use the right musical qualities? Because the meaning of mantras is usually not as important as the sound and feeling that they evoke. And the reason for that is all about science. Let's look at how mantras work, as this will explain a lot. How does mantra meditation work? And is there scientific proof? Science is gradually catching up with spirituality, and while some aspects of spirituality are being thoroughly examined, others are currently on the sideline. There has been a lot of scientific research into the benefits of meditation. And that research has proven that meditation is indeed very beneficial. But conversely, there has been very little research into mudras, hand gestures. So where do mantras stand? As I discussed in the section Definitions of Mantras above, there are lots of different definitions and theories about precisely what a mantra is. So perhaps unsurprisingly, there are also lots of different understandings about how mantras work. Most masters agree that the most important part of mantras is the specific sound that they produce. Amarjit Singh is a truly inspirational yoga teacher. Writing for Do Yoga, he states, "The vibrations from mantras have the power to rearrange your molecular structure. Each sound has a distinct vibration, and as a result, each mantra has a different effect. All sound affects your molecular structure. Sound has been very important to the evolutions of humans, and not just because it allowed us to hear those T-Rexes approaching so we could run away from them." The effect of sound in meditation mantras. Mantras are all about sound. The auditory faculty of human beings has evolved to include certain constants that create the foundations of our auditory composition. Source: Gabriel Axel, U.S. News. Those tiny little bits of sound, syllables, grunts, etc., have been with us for millions of years. And they have helped us to make sense of the world. Just like birds sing to tell each other about the weather, we have used utterances to communicate with one another and to become informed about the world around us. Sound works through echoes. A ball hits the wall of your house, sound waves pass around the environment, bouncing off of objects until we interpret them. And it's out of these echoes that our speech was born. You hear nature when you meditate on mantras. In his book Harnessed: How Language and Music Mimicked Nature and Transformed Ape to Man, neuroscientist Mark Changizi posits that the major phonemes of speech have evolved to resemble the sounds of nature. You can hear this when you speak. Think about certain words like crash, honk, and giggle, and you can hear the sound of the event itself in the word. In other words, they are onomatopoetic. Some languages are more onomatopoetic than others. Sanskrit, which happens to be the language that most mantras come from, is a very onomatopoetic language. Most classic mantras come from Sanskrit, so they too are very onomatopoetic. Therefore, when we use mantras we actually hear echoes of nature, the science of primordial sounds. In mantra meditation there is a science to mantras. These primordial sounds create echoes of nature in the body. A fascinating fact about sounds is that the sounds themselves reverberate in the mind and body. So when you speak you are actually creating physical events in the body and mind. So, if mantras are based on the sounds of nature, and when we create vocal sounds we produce physical events in the body, then logically when we recite a mantra we create a physical event that is an echo of nature in the mind and body. The third aspect of mantras is that we meditate on them. This puts our consciousness inside the mantra, or to put it another way, it puts consciousness inside the echo of nature. Put all that together, and you realize that when you recite a mantra you create a physical echo of nature in the body and mind. You then place your consciousness inside that echo of nature by meditating. Your entire being is now being affected by the mantra, and that is where the power of mantras comes from. The 108 primordial sounds. Here are the 108 primordial sounds from Sanskrit. A equals R as in father, E equals E as in Shibu equals U as in shoot, E equals Kavyo equals home 1. Kum chum 2, sem cham 3, com chom 4, lam laam 5, lim lim 6, lum loom 7, lem lame 8, lom 9, am 10, im 11. Oom 12, maym 13, om 14, vam vaam 15, vim 16, voom 17, vem vaym 18, vom 19, cam 20, kim 21, kum 22, calm kh as in blockhead 23, nam ngaam as in sing 24, cam charm ch as in itch 25, kem k 26, com 27, ham 28, him 29, hum 30, hem 31, hom 32, dam 33, dim 34, dum doom 35, dame 36, dom 37, mam 38, mim 39, moom 40, mem 41, mom 42, tam 43, tim 44, tum 45, tame 46, tom 47, pam 48, pim 49, boom 50, sam charm pronounced sh as in shut 51, nam n as in niche 52, tham th as in art house 53, ped 54, pom 55, ram 56, reem 57, rum 58, rame 59, rom 60, tam 61, tim 62, tum 63, tame 64, tom 65, nam 66, nim 67, noom 68, ned 69, nom 70, yam 71, yim 72, yum 73, yam 74, yom 75, bam 76, bim 77, boom 78, dom dh as in ad hoc 79, bom bh as in clubhouse 80, dom dh as in hard hat 81, bam 82, bom 83, jam 84, jim 85, jum 86, jam 87, jom 88, gom gh as in doghouse 89, gam 90, Geem, Geem 91. Gum, Goom 92, Gem, Game 93, Gom, Gom 94, Sam, Sam 95, Sim, Seam 96, Sum, Soom 97, Sem, Saym 98, Som, Som 99, Dam, Dam 100. Dim, Deem 101. Dum, Doom 102, Sam, Sham 103, Nam, Nyam 104, Tham, Tham, Ths in Hot House 105, Dem, Dame 106, Dom, Dom 107, Cam, Charm 108. Sim, Cheem. Let's look at best meditation mantra for beginners. The absolute best meditation mantra for beginners is Om, which is pronounced Aum. This entire sound is a sonorant. It does not feature plosives or fricative. It is an entirely open sound. Make the sound now and you will see what I mean. Because Om is entirely sonorant, it is entirely open. Now, let's return to our discussion above. Vocal sounds resemble nature. Crash resembles a crash. Honk resembles a honk. What does Om resemble? Formlessness. There are no sonorants and no free actives, so the sound is empty. When we recite Om, we create an echo of formlessness in the body. We then place our consciousness inside it by meditating, and the result is to return us to a point of formless existence. You may have noticed that suddenly the definition of mantras as something that is spoken seems wholly inadequate. It is much more accurate to say that a mantra is something we become, and that the vocal aspect is simply the gateway to becoming. We've answered another question here too. That being, why mantras in Sanskrit? The answer is that the Sanskrit language is essentially more primitive, and because it is more primitive it takes us back to that time when words were much more closer to nature. Today's language is more about logic and thought than it is about resembling nature. Modern language has lost its proximity to nature. Where Sanskrit carries us back to nature, modern language leaves us in the realms of logic and reasoning. And that is why mantras are in Sanskrit. The difference between mantra meditations and affirmations. There are important differences between mantras and affirmations. Affirmations do not work in the same way mantras work. Unlike mantras, affirmations are based on modern language. For instance, one affirmation might be, I feel loved. And when we think about these words, we do just that, think. These words and other modern phrases are based on precise meanings and thoughts. They are about definitions. I feel loved means what it says. The idea of affirmations is that when you repeat these words you feel what the words promise. I feel loved makes you feel loved. Do affirmations work? That is a subject for another article. What we definitely know is that affirmations do not work in the same way a traditional mantra works. With an affirmation you are creating a literal meaning and then focusing on that meaning. Mantras are about precise sounds that are echoes of the natural world. Of course, this doesn't mean that an affirmation cannot echo nature, as mantras do. I feel loved obviously does include sounds, and we know from neuroscience that those sounds will in some way represent nature. But in what way? The difference between mantras and affirmations is that affirmations are about meaning and mantras are about sound. As we looked at above in the section How do mantras work, the sound and feeling is very important to a mantra. For that reason, if an affirmation produces a sound that produces a positive physical and mental energy in your body, then you can call it a mantra. But you cannot call an affirmation a mantra if it is only about the literal meaning. Affirmation, a phrase that is about a literal meaning. Mantra, a sound that produces certain energy qualities in the body and mind. The four koshas of mantra meditation. When we talk about literal meaning and sound quality, we are really talking about kosha. There are four koshas, levels, of a mantra. Literal meaning. This is the primary level. At this level we understand the meaning of a mantra as though it were any other word. Feeling, this is a more subtle level at which we feel the mantra and its meaning. Inner awareness, this is the level at which we experience a mantra inwardly. Soundless sound, this is the deepest and most profound level of a mantra. This is the mantra existing on our deepest level. When you recite a mantra, your aim is to pass from the primary level to the deepest level, to take the mantra from its literal meaning and to journey with it to soundless sound, the deepest level. Swami Rama is one of the greatest adepts, teachers, writers, and humanitarians of the 20th century. He has written an indispensable guide to the koshas. I highly recommend reading it. The origins of mantra meditation. Hindu mantras. The first mantras were composed in Sanskrit by Hindus. These mantras originated during the Vedic period, when writers and gurus became fascinated by poetry, which they saw as divine and inspiring. This poetry formed the foundation of mantras. This passion for poetry and sound led to a 500-year period in which mantras were written and recorded. If you've ever wondered where mantras come from, it is from this 500-year period. The meditation mantras were diversified during the period of the Hindu epics, when they were adopted by Hindu schools. Meditation mantras then evolved through the Tantric school. This school taught that each mantra represented a deity, which is how many still think of mantras today. In the Vedic tradition, mantras were not just recited. They were used together with ritual acts. For instance, when practicing Bagalamukhi mantra, which is a protection mantra, the ritual is to wear yellow clothes and a yellow rosary and to offer flowers to the deity Bagalamukhi. This is just one example of a ritual act used in a mantra. Meditation mantras evolved further through Buddhism and Jainism. Buddhism and Jainism stemmed off from Hinduism, and the split caused major changes in the evolution of mantras. Hindus began to use mantras as a way to ask the gods to help them, for instance to save them from illness. And later Hindus used mantras to transcend past the perpetual cycle of life and death. This led to different types of mantras, including Aniruddha, not enunciated, Upamsu, inaudible, and Manasa, not spoken but recited in mind, as well as chants and spoken mantras. Tantra mantras then headed in a different direction. In the Tantric belief, the universe is comprised of sound, and the Supreme Para creates the universe through the word Shabda. The universe is comprised of different frequencies and levels of sound. In Tantra, mantras are essential, and again there are different types, which are marked by the length and structure. For instance, Mala mantras contain a very long chain of syllables, where Bija mantras are only one single syllable that end with a nasal sound that is called Anusvara. These sounds relate to different gods, with Dum being Durga, Gam being Ganesha, and so on. These bijas are used in different combinations, which leads to the creation of longer mantras. In the Tantric tradition it is believed that mantras give a person supernatural strengths. For instance, some mantras such as the Kli mantra produce heightened levels of attraction, while others offer protection from evil eye and other benefits. In many Hindu mantras it is necessary to repeat a mantra a certain number of times. This is called mantra japa, which refers to mantras that are repeated a specific number of times, often 108, and usually with the aid of a meditation mala, rosary. Examples of Hindu mantras are meanings: Gayatri mantra, used for invoking the universal Brahma, Om Bhuvas Vitatse Vitervarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Yo Na Prakidayat Om Bhuvas Swaha Tatse Vitervarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Yo Na Prachodayat. Let us meditate on that excellent glory of the divine light vivifier, sun. May he stimulate our understandings, knowledge, intellectual illumination. Pavamana mantra isatoma sadgama, tamasoma jyotirgama murtyomamtam gamara satoma sadgama, tamasoma jyotirgama murtyomamtam gamaya. From the unreal lead me to the real, for the dark lead me to the light, from death lead me to immortality. Shanti mantra Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahavir Yum Karavavahaitas Vinavaditamas Tuma Vidvisavahayam Shanti, 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 Om. Let the studies that we together undertake be effulgent, let there be no animosity amongst us. Om. Peace, peace, peace. From Wikipedia, Jainist Mantra Meditations. Jainism has its own mantras for meditation, and these are an evolution of the mantras used in Hinduism. For instance, there are Jainist mantras for each day of the week. These mantras are said to produce unique frequencies that match with the frequency of the day on which it is recited. Jainists believe that these mantras liberate the soul and lead to inner peace and freedom, which is similar to Buddhist beliefs. List of Jainist mantras. Jain Yantra Mantra for business success. See more mantra for business and finance. Jain Mantra for stopping enemy. Jain future knowing mantra to make people favorable. Jain Mohini Mantra to enchant women. Buddhist mantras. You have probably heard or read Buddhist mantras before. One of the most famous Buddhist mantras is Om Mani Padme Hum. If you look at old Buddhist art or items, you'll notice that the Buddha holds malas beads, and that there are little decorative fences around the piece. These fences and beads are symbolic of Buddhist mantras that have been around since the time of Gautama Siddhartha. Source: Kandro. Because they are rarely mentioned in the sutras, the common belief is that Buddha Shakyamuni's Dharma system did not include mantras. But the system does include the Heart Sutra mantra, Om, Gate, Paragate, Parasum Gate, Body, Swaha. An historians state that the Buddha taught protective dharanis or charms to hermits in the forest who lived in isolated places. And that is how Buddhist mantras began, as protections for the mind. As a fence protects land, a mantra protects the mind. In Buddhism, mantras are believed to be divine, and it is important to have reverence for Buddhist mantras if they are to work. Because Buddhist mantras have to be believed in order to work, many modern scientists determine that they work as placebos, that their magic is the magic of the mind, and that because the mind believes it is being healed, it will indeed be healed. In Buddhism and most similar faiths, mantras are comprised of one or more syllables. Most Buddhist mantras relate to one specific deity and are used as a way to express devotion to that deity. The essence of both the deity and of the mantra is contained in the seed syllable, also called the bijas. Sanskrit A, for instance, contains the essence of the Heart Sutra. The Buddhist mantra process usually works by emptying the mind, then visualizing the seed syllable, then letting the visualization grow into the form of the deity related to that seed. The most famous bija or seed syllable is Om, pronounced Aum, which we have looked at above. Om is the universe and all that is, was and will be. The letters of Am also represent specific things. A equals Alre, 2 equals dreaming, Am equals asleep, and then there is the silence that followed the mantra, which is used to represent emptiness. Visualizing Om, R and Hungam Am Bung is a Buddhist mantra for mental health. One of the most